Hey, what is up? I always appreciate you guys stopping by and checking out the video. So in this episode, we have a couple content creators that came together and we talk about the favorite consoles that we're currently collecting for and why. I mean, we have awesome creators such as Mr. Wright Way, always doing it the right way. Cool guy. The other gentleman that we have is Hyphy Gold, finding gold in the streets of California, and awesome pickups that he has there. We also have the master Lightsaber Samurai, very knowledgeable on not only video editing and cameras and whatnot, but very knowledgeable in games, very detailed in knowing about a lot of the games that he talks about. And we also have the sniper, which is Gat Cognac, always sniping them online deals and finding them for a really good price. Very knowledgeable as well in the games that he has. So we have all of our different inputs on the why we collect for certain consoles, and hopefully you guys enjoy it.
What's up, YouTube? My name is Mr. Wright Way, and thank you, Pickflip. I love that name, Pickflip. You could be a star. Thank you so much, man, for inviting me on your channel today to talk about what I love to collect. Now, last year, I started collecting for a console that I said I would never collect for. Why? Because it's too freaking expensive. Your boy, Mr. Wright Way, found out a way, the right way, to collect for the Nintendo GameCube. Now, here's some of my favorite games I collected this year. The games like Metal Gear Solid, Beautiful Joe 2. Now, Beautiful Joe 2 is such an amazing game. A lot better than the first one because, you get to play with his girlfriend and, hey, it reminds me of my wife when we play games together. But still, now Beautiful Joe 2 expanded on Beautiful Joe on everything from the level, from the difficulty, to the music, the colors. I mean, just go play that game. It's not expensive, so go get it. Def Jam Fight for New York. Man, Def Jam Fight for New York, that game will kick your, and even rare games like Animaniacs, The Great Egg Hunt. Now this game right here, guys, it is a hidden gem. Also, that's right, a hidden gem. Now guys, this game is super hard to find. It's almost borderline rare. If you see this game, make sure you pick up a copy because it don't come around often. I love playing the Resident Evil games on the GameCube. I think it's the definite version and the most complete version on the GameCube. Yes, it's on the PlayStation and it's everywhere. But Resident Evil 2, 3 are just so amazing. And even Code Veronica X, I think is a lot better than the Dreamcast version. Yeah, I said it's better than the Dreamcast version. Come on, come at me in the mentions. But that's what I've been collecting so far, and I enjoy collecting it here in 2021. Now, maybe next year it changed, but I got over 200 games, and I'm so blessed and so happy that I actually was able to collect these for the right price and the right way. Pickflip, thank you so much, brother, for inviting me on the channel. And I always remember to do it the right way.
Oh, hey, what's poppin'? It's Topher here for Hyphy Gold, and if you haven't checked out my channel, I'm a Bay Area reseller who so happens to collect video games. I'd like to thank Hero Pickflip for bringing us all together. Gat Cognac, Mr. Wright Way, and Lightsaber Samurai, as well as myself, Hyphy Gold. And in this video, we're talking about consoles we like to collect for, and I'm holding a PlayStation 1 right here. PS1 Slim specifically, the Zone. And this is actually my favorite version of the PlayStation because of the form factor. It takes up less space, and cannot stress enough, I need to be able to maximize my space because I'm out here in the city of San Francisco and space is a luxury, and I live in a 1-bedroom apartment with my wife and 2 dogs, so I don't really got much space. I already overtake our living room, but I like to collect for the PS1 because it takes up less space in terms of the PS1 Slim itself. And honestly, I don't even have to put the games into a PS1. I could actually put in my PS3 if I wanted the console just for collection, I'd rather have this one versus the other one. I'm not an audiophile, so I don't really care for the other one. Also, the cases look tight, man. I love it when the games are like stacked next to each other like this. Look, it's basically the size of the disc. I know it differs when it comes to the long boxes and when it comes to, but these are dope too. And I prefer these over the PS2 cases mainly because it makes the art look better on the jewel case. I mean, yes, you can have more space for art, but I like the challenge that most designers had, fit it on the square manual and on basically the square back. And honestly, I feel like the colors are more vibrant when it's like this versus that kind of like clear plastic, soft plastic on the, you know, the PS4 titles and the like Xbox 360 titles. It doesn't look the same in my opinion. I feel like the colors pop more better on a jewel case because it's almost like kind of like glass. What I do like about the designs of like these jewel case games, like even on the Dreamcast, is like the manual is the cover art. That's not something that's happening today now that manuals have gone, but I do love the manual. I used to flip through the manual as a kid. It just brings back memories. Not only playing the game, but looking at the artwork, looking at the CD artwork, looking at the back art. Nowadays, a lot of games, unless you're getting collector's editions or actually developers that care, you won't see much artwork on the interior and you won't have a manual. That's another reason why I like to collect for, is because of that. So that quality of artwork in such a tiny ass space is real dope. It's more vibrant, and you know, because it's in a jewel case, it actually is more fragile to break, but it makes you actually take care of it. Whenever I find PS1 games in great condition, I know that they cared for their games. Because there are people that destroyed their games, and whenever I find stuff like this in this type of condition, it's really, really exciting. And that's the one reason why I love to resell as well, is because finding these gems. Am I part of the problem as a reseller? A lot of collectors will say so. To each has their own, bro. Like, y'all can hate me, but you actually need to hate the game, because I'm not the one driving up the prices, because I'm collecting them too, bro. The reason why I like to collect for the PS1 is because it's a huge ass library, bro. Like, you can collect for any sort of title that you like. From the job that I do, reselling and trading and collecting, I've come across PlayStation games I've never seen before, or games that I haven't seen in a long ass time. And that's connects to another reason as to why I like to collect for the PlayStations, because of nostalgia. This is definitely actually my favorite console to collect for, because of the memories that I hold close to myself from this. PS1 was basically the first home console that I've owned as a young one, and then now as an adult is one I like to collect for, because as a kid I didn't have much games, and now as an adult, a grown-ass man at 31, I collect PS1, and I'm happy when I find PS1, more happier than when I find PS4 games, because this is what brings me back to childhood, and that's why we collect, is to reminisce. It brought me to one of my favorite series, Metal Gear. And Metal Gear Solid is the first game that I ever played that I really got into on the PS1. And then to the PS2, you know, Sons of Liberty, all the other games. That introduction was basically an introduction to a lot of different games. All these games that I have now is basically as an adult, picking it up again, trying to collect for it. These are some titles that I like. I'm actually holding some expensive titles. This is a pricey piece right here, Klonoa. And I did like Dino Crisis. I do play so many different types of games on the PS1. I'm a fan of various different genres, so I'm not really a loyalist when it comes into like consoles, but I do like the PS1 because of the variety that it has. The library is huge. It's nuts. There's some solid games that you'll enjoy. Not only did I like these games, I did like the Resident Evil series. I did like Parasite Eve, Final Fantasy, Xenogears. And I'm gonna tell you a game that I do like that's not any of those titles that I mentioned, was a title that actually had the earliest usage of the analog stick that I learned how to use the analog stick, was Ape Escape. Where you catch all the monkeys, bro. You use these sticks. You use these sticks to catch monkeys. I love this game. This is a what is this, rated T? It's rated E actually. And you catch monkeys. Very simple. Catch all the monkeys in the levels, and you know, you have fun. I had so much memories just catching all these damn monkeys that it kind of makes me want to go back and play the PlayStation 1. And I would definitely pop this in the PS3 because I don't want to plug in the PS1, let's be real. There's a fat ass library that you would always find a game, because in my job I find hella games. And whenever I find PS1, big lots of PS1, whether it is at a garage sale, whether it is at a flea market, estate sale, wherever I go, there's always titles that I've never seen before. Obviously I see the same garbage titles, but there's some solid titles for this console. And I appreciate the effort that a lot of the developers had for this console based on its limitation. And the library is insane, man. It's got how many games? It's nearly 8,000 games, bro. It's kind of like a high. I mean, I feel like that's what a lot of collectors do. It's they're kind of like addicted, but I feel like it's a healthy addiction because it's a great hobby to have, something to keep my mind sane. And it's hard to stay sane nowadays, especially these times, but you know, it's what keeps me sane. I love it. And that's how collecting should be. And that's how I feel when I collect for the PS1. It's just a love. I do like collecting for other consoles. I'm not a loyalist or a rider when it comes to like different consoles. PlayStation 1, I'm very fond of just because it brings me back to being a kid. That's how collecting is. This little ass machine, this is actually a dope ass gaming system.
Hey, what's up YouTube? Lightsaber Samurai here, and thank you to Pickflip for having me join such prestigious company as we talk about our favorite system to collect for. Now, as I got to thinking about this was actually harder than I thought, because I started to think about all the systems I collect for, and honestly I can do a video for every system and as to why I collect for it. But if I were going to choose my favorite system to collect for right now, it would be the PlayStation 3. And simply put, the reason why is because ish is absolutely bananas right now. You guys know the story about how Sony said that they were going to close down the store, and that put everybody on notice that now is the last chance to get PlayStation 3 games. Not only that, but it was coupled with the news that once your CMOS battery died on your PlayStation 3, the only way you'd be able to play the games is if you had the physical copies. So with that, prices are fluctuating all over the place. What was $5 yesterday is now a $70 game today, and prices are going up and down. It's crazy. Nobody really has a roadmap for where things are going to go from here. But that being said, I am in absolute full collector's mode now. I did a video not too long ago where I was answering the question whether I'm a gamer or collector first. And when I recorded the video, of course, I responded that I'm a gamer first. That's why I got started with YouTube and all of this in the first place. But again, as I just said, when it comes to PlayStation 3, I'm on the hunt. And for the first time, I really feel like I'm in collector's mode. I see the appeal and the rush of actually going out and finding some of these games before other people do. Finding games that I've never heard before, never seen before. And with the PlayStation 3, that's one of the main reasons why I enjoy collecting for this system. This is a console that had a huge library. The console was also region free, so there's a lot of games that we didn't have here in the States that they had in PAL territories and over in Japan. And so yeah, there's a whole import scene that I've never really taken a look at before, and for the first time I'm actually looking at exclusive imports and things like that. So yeah, I am just all in on collecting for it right now. The rush of going out and finding some of these games. The PlayStation 3 released, of course, back in 2006, 2007, off in there, and since then, I mean, a plethora of games that stand the test of time. You've got games from every genre that you can think of, whether it's excellent racing games or excellent fighting games, fantastic shooters, RPGs, and just kind of the weird off-the-wall stuff. It was also in this generation that PlayStation came out with the PlayStation Move, and those of you guys who have been following my channel for a while know that that's like my favorite kind of oddball system out there. The Move was the Nintendo Wii on steroids and had a lot of cool games and a lot of cool exclusives in its own right. So that's a whole nother subsystem that you can collect for whilst collecting for PlayStation 3 games. That is my answer. So thanks again, Pickflip, and Gat Cognac and Hyphy Gold and Mr. Wright Way and everybody else that's in the collaboration. Definitely check their channels out. If you're watching on one of the other content creators' videos and you've never seen me before, definitely check me out, Lightsaber Samurai. Hit that like button and subscribe if you hadn't done so already. You'll be glad you did. Do believe that's all I got for y'all. Lightsaber Samurai out, and peace.
It's your boy Gat Cognac here, and one of the favorite consoles I love to collect for is actually none other than the PlayStation 1. OG PlayStation right here. And you guys know right now PS1 is really hard to collect for, but if I look back, PS1 is actually one of the consoles that I first started really collecting for, and that always holds a special place in my heart. During the time, I didn't really have too much money to buy a lot of games, so me and my brother would just pool our money together, go to Toys R Us, GameStop, and we'd buy games because we never really got games unless it was like a birthday, or we didn't really celebrate Christmas like that. So basically, every once in a while, and maybe my mom was feeling good or my pops was feeling rich, I don't know. So, like I said, a lot of those games we either got as a hookup. My brother's friend actually gave a few games like Xenogears and Final Fantasy VII to us, and that got us into like a lot of the RPG games. So, man, really thankful to have that console and how that kicked off our collection, man. So during the end of the PlayStation era, GameStop had started to discontinue putting up video games for PlayStation and stuff like that. So I found around that time I would just go all over to EB Games and GameStop, Funko Land, and all that stuff, and I would just try to buy up all the PlayStation games. And I was starting off my collection of trying to find all the Squaresoft games back in the days. So that was my favorite pastime on the weekends or whatever. I wasn't even actually driving until late in the game, but every time I would be with my mom and she'd pass by a GameStop or something, or EB Games, I would go over there and, go through the little basket and see what kind of PlayStation games I could find. And I would just buy them all up. And even so, at the time, a lot of Squaresoft games are still going for like $20 to $30. So I found that time I bought basically almost all the whole Squaresoft games from GameStop mostly. So I'm only missing about like 6 games right now, which I should have just went and got. One of them happens to be Parasite Eve 2, so damn, why didn't I get that, right? So it was really a good time because, I was really on the hunt for specific games, and PS1 was always just one of my favorite consoles, man. So many great games. And even to this day, I'm still looking for a lot of hit pieces, man. So, I know a lot of people is going to say PS2, which I wanted to say too, but PS1 is where it's at, man. There's still so many games out there I want for the collection, and I still want to look forward to this day. So, yeah, man. Hopefully you guys find some good stuff out there as well, because it is getting harder. Nowadays, I really just go on Mercari, on eBay, and I kind of snipe around, see if anyone posts like PS1 games that I'm looking for cheap, and then I'll snatch it up. Yeah, I rarely go to Goodwill or swap meets or anything like that, but I know you can find a lot of cool stuff over there. But I just have a lot of time constraints, so online is where I usually find them. And if if I actually flip something that I find out there on one of my pickups for a good deal, then I might, roll it over and use that to buy a cool game. So yeah, that's all I got.
So we're talking about some fun consoles that we're currently collecting for. I do want to mention that the Game Boy Advance SP is a console that was there to shed light during some downtrodden high school gaming days. It was a portable system that folded to itself to better be protected, and was very portable by placing it in your pocket. It was very handy, very small, and it had a really great library of games as well. As you can see here, it was pretty neat to just kind of close it up and take it with you. I think it protected itself. You know, it had a big, pretty big battery life in my opinion during that time, and it's just a pretty neat console to have. I was really fond of the Game Boy Advance SP, but there's a system that kind of started popping up in high school during field trips. A lot of people would take this system out and play the games, and that is the Nintendo 3DS console. I felt it was a time to add the next generation to my console arsenal. Honestly, I didn't even have an arsenal, but I would like to pretend I did. It wasn't until many years later when the 3DS XL was released that I was able to afford one of these with my career. Currently, I'm having a blast collecting for the console. If you take a look at the console itself, you'll find a not so pocket friendly size shape with dual screens and basic format controls. The system themselves come in a ton of colors and limited editions, from the NES theme to Fire Emblem. I have a few that I'm displaying in this video, but I do have more systems. I'm having fun collecting for the system right now because you can still find games and systems in the wild. A lot of people are trying to upgrade to the Nintendo Switch, even though it's been a couple years since it's been released. So they're selling off their older consoles like the Nintendo 3DS, 3DS XL, with games as a lot packaged in. So you can still go find them at your local Facebook Marketplace or at garage sales for decent prices. In fact, recently the 3DS XL consoles have been jumping up in price because the collectability is there for these consoles. Especially because even though you can still find some of the games at, let's say, Walmart, GameStop, you know, these kind of retail places, you know, the games themselves, certain games themselves are a little bit more scarce to find. So once we become scarce to find, that's where FOMO kicks in and you start buying games that you think will be super hard to find later on and will jump up in price. So I've been having a lot of fun collecting for the 3DS console. The awesome part about it is that it's backwards compatible with the DS system, so you have years and years worth of games. So you have classic games that were re-released on the DS system, like Chrono Trigger, you know, Super Nintendo game that I really don't want to spend that much money on to get it on the SNES, but on the DS I got it for a good price a couple years ago and I still have it to this day. In fact, recently I found another copy, which will be in a later on video. But you have classic games that were ported over to the DS console, which still work on the 3DS console itself because of its backwards compatibility, kind of like the PlayStation 3 that plays PS1, PS2, the early PlayStation 3 system. You know, it's awesome because you can go back and play previous generation of games. Here's the same concept but in a handheld portable form. You have the 3DS console, you have the DS library, you have the 3DS library, and I think it's a great mixture of games. So I just really have a good time because, you know, it's such a cool console. You know, to me, I like that it's portable. I like that you're able to play, let's say, Mario Kart with friends on the go, or RPG sprite game characters like Chrono Trigger. There's all these quirky other type of games like Hotel Dusk. You also have something like Moon or Dementium. Of course, you also have your Marios. Of course, you also have your Pokemon games. I mean, you have such a huge library of games that honestly, I think it's overwhelming sometimes the amount of games that you can actually play on this console. And you can still find them for a pretty good price. And I really believe that later on down the road, it's going to be very collectible. So the other thing that came out with the 3DS consoles that was popular are, let's just say, the amiibo figures. Amiibo figures for the new 3DS XL, and they can provide extra DLC. Now, some people don't like it that you have to purchase an amiibo to get certain DLCs, and I totally get that argument and point. In my opinion, I like amiibo. I think they're real nice looking. I mean, it's just so many things can come off of these amiibo characters that you can get extra items, and they just look great. They're pretty well built in my opinion for the price. There's some of them have gone up in price, of course. There's limited ones that came out, you know, like the Dark Souls or, you know, the Diablo amiibos. I mean, there's so many types of amiibos out there that, you know, imported ones that you can get in Japan only, like the Monster Hunter stories. So it's just overall, I think the 3DS has a bunch of games that you can play from. Also, there's a bunch of accessories that you can choose, and there's a whole bunch of limited editions that you can actually go and purchase. I even was able to purchase a few, not for resale, demo kiosk 3DS cartridges for pretty cheap off of Facebook Marketplace. So just kind of be on the lookout there if you're out in the wild collecting games and buying games, because you're going to be finding out that the 3DS is going to jump up in price. So I'm having a lot of fun collecting games right now at the moment for the 3DS console, and it's pretty cool. So that's the console that I'm having fun collecting for right now. This is Pickflip. How about you guys? What are you guys collecting for right now? So yeah, that's the question. What do you guys enjoy collecting for? What's something that, a console that you enjoy because either A, because the prices are right for you right now, or because they're nostalgic, you like the artwork, you like the developers, you like the exclusive content. What's the console that you like collecting for in the games? You know, let us know. I mean, check out also these content creators. They're pretty awesome. I mean, look at their YouTube channels. Great guys, great information. We had a lot of fun doing this together, so hopefully you guys can check them out. Like always, guys, I appreciate that you guys stopped by, and hopefully enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.